Today I'm basically going to be doing what I guess you could say I specialize in, which is doing my little watercolors. I do watercolors, oil paintings, acrylics. I also do murals, like the one we did in the third floor with all the kids. And uh, because we don't have a lot of time, I kind of already started on the little watercolor that I'm doing right now for today. And this is what I have so far. And I'm using Winsor & Newton watercolors with some gouache on top of it. That's how I do all my paintings, my watercolor paintings. I usually like to be outside doing this because it just feels better to be outside doing this, and you get to feel the wind and you're just outside and it's more relaxing. And definitely have more anxiety because I'm inside, I guess. I really want to be outside doing this. But I get to start. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And if you guys have any questions or anything, go ahead and ask me whatever you want and all of that. I guess before I begin, I sketched this out first. Then I started with the watercolor. You can still see some of the little lines, orange lines here. I sketched it out, started with the watercolor. Now I'm gonna start adding a little bit more of the gouache that I placed over here. And I usually like to just make it more simple and more easy for me. I just start out with 5 colors: white, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, what is this? Cadmium red, and some sepia. And that's what I like to do. That's it. And I'll get started now.
Watch, exactly. We said watch.
Wash.
Gouache, yes.
Will you explain to him
What
what
does
it is?
that mean?
So gouache is kind of like in between acrylic and watercolor kind of paint. It's you can still work on it while it's dry because it's just so it just works with you so well, and I just really like it. It's so nice. And if I make a mistake, I can actually paint on top of it, unlike using straight up watercolor. If I use straight up watercolor, then I wouldn't be able to paint on top of it. Because watercolor is not very forgiving. So if you make a mistake, it's gonna be there forever. Also, I kind of feel like sometimes I'm a little bit lazy. So that's why I like gouache, because I can go on top of it.
Can you talk about the paper you're using too?
Oh, I'm just using watercolor paper. I don't know. Arches watercolor block. Modeling and paper arches. Period. Mais bleu bleu bleu. This is, yeah, that's it. I don't know what to say.
Talk about your art practice.
My art practice. So usually, what is my art practice? Like oils and stuff?
What you do, why you do it,
Oh.
content.
I don't know. I mean, I've always loved art. I don't know. I started doing art when I attended Paseo Academy. And I was lucky enough to be taught by Jessica Manco, who also worked for Matty Rhodes for a while. And she's an amazing teacher, art teacher, and she really got me hooked on painting. So definitely one of the people that I owe a lot of what I know right now. And she definitely inspired me to continue with it. And I just want to make a shout out to Jessica because she's so cool.
She's still teaching at Paseo?
She's teaching at Van Horn, I think, right now. But she's still doing amazing with her students, like always. Yeah.
It's cool.
So what happened after Paseo?
Oh. And after Paseo, I went to the Kansas City Art Institute for 2 years. But I honestly didn't really like it. It wasn't really my thing. Especially because I wasn't really pushed to do what I wanted to do, which is, I guess you could say, the more traditional kind of painting, technical things that I love to do. So that's why I stopped going in 2012, attending in 2012, and I just started working for a really long time, for about 2 years. And after that, I went back to doing art. And then after a few years of doing art, my friend Rodrigo Alvarez called me one day and he was like, "Hey man, I have a mural that I'm working on." And I was like, "Really? Let's see." So we went to go see the mural, and it was at Richardson Early Learning Center. And that's how I started with murals, basically. He had already sketched out what he wanted to do and everything, but he was doing it with a brush that's this big, which is probably like half an inch brush, for a wall that's almost as long as the art center. And I was like, no, can't do that. So I brought spray paint. We got a bunch of spray paint. We just spray painted everything. They called us back, and we did another one in the playground. And from there, we just started making murals, and we've been making murals ever since. And right now, we've worked with the school district for a while. We're trying to finish up one right now for Central High School. We just finished another one last year for Olathe Library. I mean, we've done so much work already right now around Kansas City. I think we have around 40 murals all around town, in restaurants and various businesses, walls. So it's been pretty good as far as mural making.
Sam is asking actually, where are some murals around KC?
So the easiest ones that you can find is if you go to the River Market and you go inside the Bite, you get to see some of them actually. A lot of them are right there, just because Carlos from the Bite has always been interested in having a bunch of murals in his spot. So there, Pollo, those spots always have our work. They're the easiest to find between 31st and Linwood, I think, on Troost. That one is for some reason I always see it around everywhere on what do you call it, online and stuff, or presentations. And that one is it Angel, Troost Angel, Independence Avenue. We have a few on Independence Avenue. Mercado Fresco. All the flags that are on there. Rico and I made the flags. Let's see where.
Wow, those are nice, man.
Thank you.
And then.
And the one also down kind of closer to Elvira's, across the street from Elvira's. Is that you guys?
No, that's Jose Faust.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Jose Faust. We have one over on. There's a cricket between Chestnut and Prospect, and there's 3 women that I painted there, and that's one of them. There's a little rainbow in the back, and there's a bunch of flowers behind them as well.
Shanisha also wants to know, what is your favorite mural so far, and how long did it take? And then she also has another question after that.
That mural that I've made, or other people have made?
I'm guessing it's the mural. Yeah,
That
Your
I've made?
mural, yeah, because she's asking, and how long did it take? Like, how long did it take to make?
I think my favorite one right now is Café Corazon, and that's on
Westport Road.
Westport Road. That's one of my favorite ones that Rico and I have worked on, because we came up with the design pretty well. They already knew what they wanted, and it was very. They definitely gave us a lot of permission to do whatever we wanted, and when somebody gives us permission to do whatever we want, we get crazy over creative, and we just try to do as much as we can with it, especially because we have creative freedom. But definitely Café Corazon. If you guys go to Café Corazon, you will be able to see it. And it took us about a day and a half to make that mural.
She also wanted to know if you could design any mural anywhere in the world, where would it be and what would it resemble?
I think that's a really hard question for me. I feel like if it would be anywhere in the world, I would definitely want it to be. I know this sounds very cliche or whatever, but I would want it to be downtown here in Kansas City, and I would want it to be a really, really big building, and I would want to mix in a little bit of where I come from, my mom's roots, my roots, and that's Oaxaca. That's where my mom is from a really, 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 really long name for her town, but something representing Oaxaca. And something representing her as well, because she's always been part of the inspiration for some of the murals that I get to do and decide what to put on them. Like the one in Overland Park, the three women is basically the three women in Independence Avenue is basically inspired by her, and how she has worked so hard to bring my sister and I here to the United States. My sister was about to turn 1. I turned 1. I turned 9. Sorry. And she just worked so hard. And to me, it's like giving her this. Although she sometimes doesn't know, because it's kind of, scary to tell her. But yeah, a big building, something that has to do with Oaxaca, and something inspired from my mom, definitely. Or maybe a similar story from another person.
When you guys moved here, which neighborhood did you guys live in, or which neighborhoods?
We have lived in the Northeast since we've been here. So I went to Whittier Elementary. After Whittier Elementary, I went to Northeast Middle for a year. Then I went to J. Rogers. Then I went to Paseo. So 9th and Benton, 10th and Bells, and now 8th and Chestnut. So we've been in the neighborhood.
That's good, man. I hope we get to meet your mom sometime. She must be an amazing woman.
Yeah, she definitely is an amazing woman. Definitely a lot of the inspiration comes from her.
I have a question. Who are some of your favorite artists that inspire you the most?
Some of my favorite artists that inspire me the most. It first started with John Singer Sargent. If you guys don't know, there's a painting of his over at the Nelson Atkins Museum on the 2nd floor. And I I just love the use of colors that he has on his watercolors and oils. Every single brushstroke is deliberate and very well thought of. I love that about him. And after that, right now, to be honest, is Emilia Cruz. That's one of my favorite artists. I think mostly because she shared one of the portraits that I made of her, and she made all the artwork for Hentified. So if you guys watch Hentified, you'll see her artwork. She's really cool. But she shared my post, and I was like, wow! I was freaking out. I don't know. It was like one of your favorite artists sharing your work. That was like mind blowing to me, and I was like, oh my god! So she's also one of them. Egon Schiele is also one of them. One of my favorite artists. Gustav Klimt. I started liking Van Gogh a lot when I did the mural for the Olathe Library where we had to do a landscape of sunflowers. I started to really get into him and learning about his technique and learning about all of these different methods that he has. And when you look at the painting, it doesn't look like everything is very well thought of, but after doing a bunch of research to do these sunflowers, you actually can tell that he actually thought about where he's going to place each line in the painting and how everything works. Especially when you look at his drawings. His drawings are amazing to me. So those are some of my favorite artists.
Itzel wants to know if you can share with everyone a little bit of your chronicles at the Nelson Atkins Museum.
Calling you out.
So I'm being called out on this one by somebody that I know.
Used to be an employee of the Nelson.
That used to be an employee of the Nelson Atkins Museum. Unfortunately, I'm one of these weird people that thinks he's gonna get superpowers by
Me
getting
neither, and I work there
extra
too.
close to the paintings.
Did you touch them?
Wait.
I'm gonna be mad at you after this one.
So a lot of people are gonna get really mad at me. I may have done it. I may have not. I don't know. Might have touched. Yeah.
Which one?
An expensive painting.
Very expensive painting.
The
One of the masters.
the Caravaggio paint. The Caravaggio.
Oh!
I didn't.
It's like, that's not even.
I didn't exactly.
That is the painting you're talking about.
I didn't like rub on it or anything. I just went like that, and I just felt like I had superpowers because I touched it.
Guys, sorry, I have to run to a 12:30 appointment. But thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing, and it's really
Isaac, will you show us what you
Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah, then-
See you later, guys.
See you. Have
See
a
you
good
later.
one.
You too.
And then Shanisha wants to know if you sell your drawings or if you have them at art galleries around town,
QN.
or if you saw them.
I do sell a lot of my stuff. I do commissions. I do everything. I guess, especially right now. I sell my paintings. I sell my drawings. If you go to Instagram and type in Tapia, Tapia, period, ISAAC, all of those are basically my paintings and drawings, paintings, and a lot of people sometimes ask for commissions. I recently just finished a commission for somebody from high school that her dad had passed away, and this gentleman never met his granddaughter, so I painted him and his granddaughter together, and so that was a really cool experience to paint. It was a bit difficult, but it was really cool, and I always love to see people's reaction whenever I turn in the painting and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you." It just feels so good to give somebody happiness. So yeah, always, if you need one, let me know.
And then Anthony Reyes said, after eating tacos, I don't know what that means, but he said that. And then he said, Isaac needs commissions right now.
Oh.
So that's nice.
Yeah, I do need commissions. Unfortunately, events happen sometimes, and my car broke down. So I'm definitely open for commissions. If anybody needs one, wants one, or anything like that, or related.
Can we see what you've done so far?
So this is what I have so far. I'm not done with it yet.
Nice. Can you show us what you're working on? The photo, can I show?
I don't want to show it yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. Not yet. Sorry. It's awesome.
That one or this one? Which one do I show?
Yeah, this one. Oh, I thought you were talking about right here. I can just really careful. But this is basically what Isaac has as of now of Maddie Rhodes Art Gallery.
This is a picture that I'm working from. It's definitely better when you work live, I guess, in person, outside, because you don't get overwhelmed with the detail that a picture gives you, and you can control everything much better, what you want the focus to be, and all of these things. But yeah,